Today on the Daily Scoop podcast from the Scoop News Group, the U.S. wants to push its view of AI cybersecurity standards to the rest of the world. And the Pentagon names 6 appointees to lead the CTO's top technology efforts. It's Monday, February 2nd, 2026. Welcome to the Daily Scoop podcast, where you'll hear the latest news and trends facing government leaders. I'm the host of the Daily Scoop podcast, Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much for joining me. And now let's dive into the day's top headlines. The U.S. government wants the rest of the world to adopt its artificial intelligence cybersecurity standards, a top official with the Office of the National Cyber Director said last Thursday. As part of an effort to advance American AI, the administration will be undertaking diplomacy efforts to promote American AI cybersecurity standards and norms, establishing industry best practices for secure AI deployment, and harnessing the full potential for AI tools, said Alexandra Seymour, Principal Deputy Assistant National Cyber Director for Policy. Seymour's comments at the 2026 Identity, Authentication, and the Road Ahead Policy Forum in Washington, D.C., partially reflected the Trump administration's AI Action Plan released last summer, which said the Departments of Commerce and State would vigorously advocate for international AI governance approaches that promote innovation, reflect American values, and counter authoritarian influence, but doesn't explicitly mention international promotion of cybersecurity standards. Some of that effort has already materialized with internationally oriented guides released in both May and December of last year. The United States also isn't the only one looking to influence international standards for AI security. AI also figures into the yet-to-be-released national cybersecurity strategy that Seymour's office has been developing. And it dovetails with a pillar of the strategy focused on defending federal networks. Seymour said at the event, quote, "While AI is already helping industries enhance security and address the challenge of escalating cyber attacks, this administration will promote the rapid implementation of AI-enabled cyber defensive tools to detect, divert, and deceive threat actors who continue targeting our vital systems and sectors on our federal systems. We must get our house in order. They need rapid modernization, and we're working on policies to harden our networks, update our technologies, and ensure we're prepared for a post-quantum future," unquote. Now moving on to other news, the 6 senior officials appointed by Pentagon leadership to oversee its recently restructured critical technology areas overseen by the CTO and to accelerate the military's adoption of each of those top priority capabilities were officially announced last week. Posts on Instagram and X from official accounts for the Office of the Undersecretary of Defense for Research and Engineering and Chief Technology Officer spotlighted brief bios for each of those accountable senior officials who will lead the Defense Department's new CTAs. The posts on social media stated that, quote, "The 6 CTAs are department-wide imperatives designed to maintain American military dominance, and now each one will have accountable leaders leading the tangible sprints under each CTA. Each sprint will be designed to deliver advanced capabilities to our warfighters rapidly and at scale," unquote. For years, the Pentagon has grappled with long-standing challenges that have stymied the military's pursuits to integrate emerging technologies across the back office and in operational settings. The DoD's list of critical technology areas has included the most pressing challenges and capabilities needed for modern warfare since it was conceptualized. In November, Pentagon CTO and Undersecretary for R&E Emil Michael revealed his plan to trim the department's list of 14 CTAs established during the Biden administration down to just 6 with renamed categories. The focus areas in the updated catalog include applied artificial intelligence, biomanufacturing, contested logistics technologies, quantum and battlefield information dominance, scaled directed energy, and scaled hypersonics. At the time of the reset, Michael suggested that his team's overarching aim was to prioritize and focus investments in select technologies that will deliver the greatest impact, the fastest results, and the most decisive advantage on the battlefield. Each of the 6 officials who were tapped to lead the new CTAs have prior experience in DoD or the military. According to the social media posts and their online bios, the 6 appointees are, for Applied Artificial Intelligence, Cameron Stanley, a former National Security Transformation Lead for AWS and Chief of the DoD Algorithmic Warfare Cross-Functional Team, previously known as Project Maven, who was also recently hired as the department's chief digital and AI officer. For biomanufacturing, Dr. Gary Vora, the Navy's former principal scientist for biotechnology, who also initiated and led the Naval Research Lab's basic research efforts in the microbiological sciences. For contested logistics technologies, Dr. Robert Mance, who has more than 4 decades of federal service, including senior roles at the Army Research Office and DARPA. For quantum and battlefield information dominance, Dr. Kevin Rudd, a specialist in electronic warfare, radar, RF systems, and advanced sensing, who previously served at DARPA in the Office of Naval Research. For scale-directed energy, Dr. Christopher Vergian, an expert in DE and national defense technology, who previously served in the Air Force Office of Scientific Research and the Defense Threat Reduction Agency. And for scaled hypersonics, Dr. James Weber, an engineer with more than 30 years of experience in the research and development of hypersonic systems, including at the Air Force Research Lab. The Pentagon has not yet released a detailed plan for the forthcoming tangible technology sprints of each of the CTAs. For more news at the intersection of the federal government and technology, make sure to visit fedscoop.com. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of the Daily Scoop podcast, available on all podcast platforms. If you've already rated the podcast on your platform of choice, thanks so much. High ratings and good reviews of the show help more people to find it. The Daily Scoop podcast is a production of the Scoop News Group in Washington, D.C. Adam Butler and Carlin Fisher help put the show together, and the entire Scoop News Group team contributes. We'll be back tomorrow with more top headlines. Until then, I'm your host, as always, Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much for listening.